Hello, hello, happy new day. Welcome back to this session as we talk about getting your month off to a fresh, a fast, a joyful start. We're already a day or two into the new month, so it's time to get it started. Now, we just closed out the first quarter of 2024. Yay! I'm so excited. I love breaking up goals into quarters. It just allows you, it just makes the goals more achievable. I will say that. So that's just a pro tip I want to throw in there. You know, a lot of times when we have these yearly goals, they seem so huge, so big, and sometimes they can become very overwhelming. But when you break it up into quarterly goals, 90-day goals, it's just something magical starts to happen. So I'm absolutely excited that we're done with that quarter. You know, basically I've already reflected, and hopefully you have too, before we move forward today. Hopefully you reflected on over the past 90 days. And that reflection is not about holding yourself hostage to any mistakes or things that did not go right. No, you have to free yourself. You're going back just to grab those lessons that are going to propel, inject you forward towards your future goals. So you're just looking back for the lessons, because I often believe that lessons are what? Blessings as well. So let's get started, because it's about April. It's about this second quarter of 2024. And there's just some things that we have to do. There's just some things that you and I just know are imperative to do in order to have a successful month and a successful second quarter of 2024. So let's get started. Number one, you have to remove the clutter from your life. See, I often say that a cluttered mind leads to what? Cluttered thoughts, and then there's no clarity, and then what starts to happen is there's no movement in your life. So if you're wondering why things are not moving in the right direction, well, you have to examine the clutter. Now, I'm not really talking about external clutter, but I will say this: if you have any external clutter, clean it up. Take care of it. You will feel so much better. Uncluttered space is so important for you. It's so important it gets you energized. It gets you feeling really great. But what I'm talking about today is that internal clutter and how you can remove it. And one of the ways I know is just by journaling it out. I know some of you may be fighting it like I did years ago, and I said, I do not want to put pen to paper. I do not want to write. That is not what I want to do. And maybe that's just because after coming out of college, I just totally said, I don't want to read again. I don't want to write again. I am done, especially going to college at a fairly young age and doing these things. I was just through with any type of learning. But I will tell you, learn from my mistakes. When I stopped those type of things like writing, reading, and things of that sort, I stopped growing. And if you're not growing, then you are dying. And when I say dying, what I mean is you are dying to your purpose, your one true purpose in life. So when I started picking back up the pad, the paper, and the pen and started really journaling it out, what it did was started to remove the clutter. And as, excuse me, as the clutter went out, then guess what? The clarity had space to move in. See, clarity does not have space to come in when there's so much clutter. And if you need any help with moving clutter, I know for me, just connecting to my higher power is so important, because there's things I cannot, there's things I will not attempt to do in my own power. I need the strength from my higher power. So whether you have to tap into your higher power or whether you can tap into you, but removing the clutter is so important. So that's step number one. Number two, and I can't do one of these sessions without mentioning this, how to get it off to a fast start. You have to take a quick snapshot of your financial portfolio. So what do I mean here? You have to make sure you are on track. You have the basics, just the basics. I am only talking about the basics. I know we have scholars out there. We have ownership scholars that you're going to just do a little bit more, right? And we have to do that, some of us. But there's people out there that all they need is just the basics. The basics will save them. What are the financial basics? And I'm gonna wrap this all up in the step number two. The basics are: one, you have to have hopefully at this point you have already done this, because we've been talking about this session after session ever since the prior year 2023. But you have to have done that analysis of your finances. Why? Because you need to know what's coming in, and you need to know everything that's going out. Why? Because you have to adhere to a budget. See, when you have a budget, it's part of that clarity plan. When you have a budget, it really tells you your next move. So if you're thinking that you're going to do something, you want to take a vacation, if you're thinking you want to splurge, well, guess what? Consult your budget. It will tell you your next financial move. It will either tell you whether you need to increase your income, or you need to decrease your expenses, or maybe sometimes you just have to do what? Both of them. So whatever the case may be, adhering to a budget is so important. So number 2, make sure you have a budget, you adhere to it, and make sure in all of that you have some type of financial vision. Hopefully when you were in step 1, you were writing it out, you were letting the clarity come in. Hopefully there was a vision. Hopefully you were writing about a vision or something for your life, and a financial vision is so beautiful. So number 2, make sure you get things in order financially. Make sure you are knocking out that debt. Because what I know is and this is I really have to interject this, because I know that part of the problem that people are having is the debt side of it. The debt is really, people are drowning in debt. Some people have just accepted that they will be in debt. But these sessions, this channel is not about accepting those things. It's not about accepting enslavement to interest. It's about freedom and freeing yourself. So when you think about it, honestly, truly, if you do not want to be enslaved to a job or a business or anything that you're not happy with, then you have to put things in place to become debt free. I know, you're saying, Tiffany, this is not the most popular topic. You would rather be talking about something else. But guess what? You tuned into this session because you want to get things off to a fresh start. You want to hit your 2024 goals. You want to close the second quarter strong. And if that's going to happen, then I have to talk to you in that way. I have to tell you the things that I had to do. Now, you have to choose if that's the path for you. I'm not telling you these things. I'm just telling you my truth. And in that, if you align it with your truths, maybe you can find something that you can add to your plan to make your goals and dreams happen in a special way. So that's number 2. And then lastly, one of the things that probably not one, but I would say the biggest things that you have to do is have an attitude of gratitude. This is so important. I'm telling you, from the time you wake up, you step out of your bed, you step out of your car, you step into a building, you walk into a store, you walk into your job, you walk into your business, wherever you go, you have to embody gratitude. See, there's something about a grateful heart. A grateful heart is a true magnet for success. It's a magnet for a successful life in all areas of your life. If someone asks, what is the key? What is your key, Tiffany, to success? Gratitude. I am always grateful, even for the bad situations, because oftentimes we're grateful for all the good that happens. I am especially grateful for the bad things. Why? Because to me, bad things are just as good as those positive things. See, what I do is I use those bad things as lessons, and I turn them into blessings for whose benefit? For my benefit, so that I can honor God in the process. So having a grateful heart is so important. When you are grateful, it's just like, honestly, like I said, you become a magnet for success. I really get excited about the gratitude part of it. So whether you're writing it down, you have your gratitude journal, or whether you're just grateful and you're speaking it, and hopefully you're speaking it, because when you speak it, it's just those things that flow from the heart. It's protection from everything. So make sure you just continue having an attitude of gratitude. It is so amazing. So let's recap this thing. Number 1, you have to move clutter out. As clutter comes out, clarity has room to come in. Number 2, get your life in order financially. Proclaim your power back. Take your power back. Do not let anyone enslave you and trap you. That freedom is so important and it is so freeing. I'm here to tell you. And number 3, have a grateful heart. Be grateful for the smallest to the biggest things in your life. There's always something to be grateful about. So these are 3 things I know can get your month off to a fresh start. Hey, go tell someone. And in the process, make them happen for you and yourself. Thank you for tuning in to this session. Until next time, hasta luego.